Hello and welcome students. We are into the 28th video lecture of the video lecture series made on the subject of mechanics of solid, whose subject code is ME201, and the topic which we are going to discuss today is the bending stresses in composite beams. See, the topic of bending stress I have started in the lecture number 25th, 26th, 27, and this is the fourth lecture that is dedicated to this bending stresses topic. In the first two lectures, I have told you about the concept of bending stresses, how we calculate the bending stresses. Then in the lecture number 26, I have told you what is bending equation and how the bending equation is derived. And then after, what is the modulus of resistance. Then after section modulus, these all things I have taught you in lecture number 26. Then in lecture number 27, I have taught you the concept of using these bending equation and bending stresses for solving the numericals. We have solved a lot of numericals in our lecture number 27. If you have not gone through the video lectures 25 to 27, you can go through those lectures and you can get an understanding of the bending stresses topic. Now, today what we are going to do, we are into the final video lecture of this bending stress topic, and this is based on bending stresses in composite beams. I am Shri Krishna Mishra, Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur. Let's start the lecture. Before moving into the lecture, let's see what are the objectives of today's lecture. So the objective of today's lecture are, we are going to deal with the concept of composite sections like the T section, alright, I sections, these T section, I section, these are all the composite sections, students. Alright, C section will be also considered in the same category, C section. So these are composite sections. So we are going to understand what are composite sections, composite beams. Then after, we are going to apply the concept of bending stresses on these composite beams. We are going to apply the concept of bending stresses in these composite beams. Alright, this diagram you can see there is a C section and it is in the form of a cantilever beam. Alright, so we are going to apply the bending equation on these sections. We are also going to calculate the maximum bending stresses in these T sections and I sections. Then we are also going to solve some numericals based on the equation theory of bending in the case of composite beams. Alright, I hope you have understood what we are going to touch in this today's lecture. Now move into the discussion. Bending stresses in composite beams. See, we have right now in the previous lectures discussed that the bending stresses in simple beams and the pattern in which these stresses vary along the symmetrical sections. This we have discussed in the previous lectures. Simple beams means beams which are of simple cross sections like rectangular cross section, circular cross sections, hollow circular cross section, or a hollow rectangular or square sections. We have seen these all cases. These were considered as the simple beams. These are considered as simple beams. Alright, and in these cases, the stresses, how it varies along the symmetrical sections, we have seen. But sometimes, students, we come across beams of composite sections. Alright, composite sections means like the sections which you are seeing here. This is the composite T section. Here it is not as simple as a square cross section or a circular cross section. It is a composite section. Here you can see that we can divide it into two sections, one rectangular, both rectangular. One section, this one, this has one section, then after one more section, this has second section. In this way we can see that it is a composite sections which can be considered as made of two different sections. Alright, so these are the sections, and in these sections we are sometimes required to study the pattern in which these stresses vary along such sections. We are required to study the pattern in which the stresses vary along these sections. Alright, though these sections are symmetrical about an axis. Alright, so it is not that much easy, but it is somewhat different from that cases of simple beams. So let's see. Now there will be three cases which we will discuss in the case of composite beams. Alright, though there are many types of composite beams, yet the important from subject point of view are three. One, beams of unsymmetrical sections like the T section, like the sections which are unsymmetrical, like L. L section is not a symmetrical section. You can see this L section cannot be considered as a symmetrical section. So these are unsymmetrical sections. Then there are beams of uniform strength. Sometimes the beams are manufactured in order to have uniform strength everywhere. Alright. Then the third case is there are the cases of fleshed beams. This also I will tell to you when I will reach into this topic. So these are the three important types of composite beams which we are going to discuss. Now the beams of unsymmetrical sections. In a symmetrical section, students, the distance of extreme fiber from the center of gravity of the section is generally taken as d by 2. Like any section, if you will take, if it is symmetrical like the T section, student, or any simple section, you will see that the distance of extreme fiber from center of gravity is generally d by 2. But it is not the case in the case of unsymmetrical sections. In the case of these unsymmetrical sections, this is not the case. Means your distance from the outermost fiber cannot be taken as just a half of the depth or half of the diameter in the case of circle. Alright, this we have seen in the previous article, in the previous video lecture. I have told you just directly in the case of simple sections like this, circle and like this, directly y value you can take equal to d by 2. But this is not the case in the case of L section, T section and I section. These are unsymmetrical sections. Since the neutral axis of such section does not pass through the geometrical center of the section. In the case of unsymmetrical sections, the neutral axis of such sections do not pass through the geometrical center of the section. In such cases, first the center of gravity of the section is obtained, alright, and then the value of y in the tension and compression side is studied. So what we will do in such questions? First we will calculate where is its center of gravity. We will calculate the position of center of gravity. Alright, where it will lie. Now this will not be tough because we have studied the topic of center of gravity in the engineering mechanics subject in the first year. Alright, so center of gravity first of this composite section we will calculate, and then after we will discuss that what is the value of the stress on the tension and compression sides. For obtaining the bending stresses in beams, the bigger value of y in tension or compression is used in the equation. Now this line is important. If you have the stress value, tensile stress value at the top, if it is a case of simply supported beam, then you will get compressive stresses above this center of gravity, alright, and tensile stresses on the portion below this neutral axis passing through center of gravity. Now if you find that the maximum value of this, if you find this value of y1 for example, and this is the value of y2, whichever will be large, you will use that value. Whichever will be large, y1 or y2, means the bending stress value in the tension side or the bending stress value in the compression side, whichever will be large, that will be used in the case of unsymmetrical sections or in the case of composite sections. This extra effort has to be made here, though this effort was not required in the case of simple section beams like the square beams or the rectangular or circular beams. So let's understand this with the help of some examples. So let's read out what this example is saying to us. See, example is saying that two wooden planks 150 mm by 50 mm each are connected to form a T section. This is the T section. Dimensions are already given in this diagram. 150 is this value, 50. The values of the rectangle, this particular one, is 150 and 50, and the value of the next rectangle, this particular one, they are given to us 150 and 50. Now if the moment of 6.4 kilonewton meter is applied around the horizontal neutral axis, now the moment that is applied along the horizontal neutral axis is 66.4 kilonewton meter, inducing tension below the neutral axis. Find the bending stresses at both the extreme fibers of the cross section. We have to calculate the bending stresses at both of the extreme fibers. So this is a case of composite section, and in the case of composite section, as I have told to you, what we are going to do, we are going to calculate the value of center of gravity first of this composite section. So how we will calculate, this is already known to you. We are going to consider this whole of the beam into two parts, one this rectangle and then this rectangle, and then by using parallel axis theorem we are going to bring the center of gravity of both values into the center of gravity of composite section somewhere here. Alright, so how we will do, students? First the center of gravity of this section and of this section, that we will calculate. How we will calculate the center of gravity of these two portions, like this. Alright, for example, the center of gravity of this above rectangle pass through here, and the center of gravity of this particular rectangle pass through here. So what will be the value? Let name them as G1, alright, and here as G2, and the common center of gravity be capital G. Then how we will calculate? First G1 will be calculated. How? This G1 can be calculated. We all know that for a rectangle the center of gravity can be easily calculated. Alright, location we need, since this whole of the object, this whole of the composite beam is symmetrical about y-axis, so only y bar we will calculate. We will calculate only y bar. And how we will calculate? We all know the formula. The formula says that a1y1 plus a2y2 plus a2y2 divided by a1 plus a2 divided by a1 plus a2. Alright, in this way this is done. And when you will use the values of this area, a1 is your area of this part 1, alright, and area of part 2 is a2. Alright, so this we will use. Alright, and here this is symmetrical about y-axis, so it will not be difficult. y1 and y2 are to be calculated. y1 and y2, these are to be calculated. So y1 means distance from this base. If you will take the distance of this base of this first above rectangle, how much it will be? This will be this 150 from here to here. From here to here it is 150, and from here to this center of this it will be 25. So 150 plus 25, this will give you the value 175. This will give you the value 175 as y1. Coming into y2 is very simple, because whole the length from here to here it is 150, and we only need the value from here to this section, and it will be 150 divided by 2, that is 75. So this was also easy. Then after a1 and a2 can be easily calculated. A1 will be 150 into 50 and a2 will be again 150 into 50. Both will have the same area, so that can be taken out as common also. Finally you will get the value of y bar, means the distance. Y bar is basically what? Y bar is the distance of the neutral axis, or the distance of the center of gravity from where? From the bottom, which is considered as the reference axis. This is your basically what? This is your y bar. This is your y bar. Alright, so y bar we have calculated. Now what we will do? We want the value distance between the center of gravity of section and the upper extreme fiber. Now our motive is basically to calculate which is larger one. The distance we are going to calculate the distance if this is the line of neutral axis, so its distance from the top means this particular distance we need to calculate, and this particular distance we need to calculate. Alright, so from bottom it is 125 already, but from the top how much it is? So from the top, how you will calculate 150 and 50? This is the whole 200. 200 minus 125. 200 minus 125. This will give you the value from the top extreme fiber. Alright, so this will give you the value 75. This will give you the value as 75. Alright. So this is your 125 and 75. So you can see that 125 is greater one. 125 is greater one. Alright. So in this way you can see, students, now we have calculated the value of y which will be used here. And what will be the moment of inertia? Moment of inertia, as we all know, here what we will do, how we will calculate the moment of inertia? Moment of inertia, we will have to bring the moment of inertia of both these sections here in this particular common moment of inertia. Here we have to bring the moment of inertia for these all individual section 1 and section 2 into this center of gravity of composite section, which here in this case is considered as neutral axis. So how we will bring, see, moment of inertia of section 1 will be BD cubed by 12. B is here your 150, width and depth is your D, so 50. So BD cubed by 12 plus, we know if we want to use parallel axis theorem, so parallel axis theorem says that I is equal to IC plus AH square, right? So using this formula, what you will get? You will get the value of IC is BD cubed by 12, the same which is written here. And A will be, what is the area of the section 1? 150 into 50, and H square, H is the distance, this distance, this between the neutral axis and this between the center of gravity of this section 1 and the section of center of gravity of the whole of the composite section. So the whole of the composite section is at a distance of 175. The center of gravity of section 1 is at the distance of 175. Alright, and center of gravity of composite section is at a distance of 125 from the base. So subtracting these two values, you will get the value of H. This will fetch you the value of H. Alright, so H is calculated. Similarly, this was for section 1. Alright, for section 2 also the same thing we will do. What we will do, i.e. moment of inertia of this section will be BD cubed by 12. But here, what is B? Here the B is 50, and what is the depth? D is 150. So this will be changed, and then after plus AH square. A is, you know how you will calculate H. For this, H will be this particular value from here to here minus this particular value. Means this was your 125, this was your 125, and here this is smaller value, it is your 75. So 125 minus 75. This will give you the value equal to how much? You will use this formula, and finally you will calculate the value of moment of inertia. How much is the value of moment of inertia which you are getting here? The composite value of moment of inertia of this T section by the use of this formula, alright, is 53.125 into 10 to the power 6. I hope you are understanding this concept. You should develop within you. You should go into the concept, into some good books, and you can see how to calculate the value of moment of inertia and the center of gravity for a composite section. Soon, if you will need, I will make a video lecture for that also, how to calculate the value of center of gravity. But right now, I think the information or the concept which I have told to you to calculate the value of moment of inertia and center of gravity, that is more than enough for your understanding. So in this way, this was your parallel axis theorem. This was your parallel axis theorem. And this is used to find the value of moment of inertia for a composite section. Moving further, students, after the calculation of this moment of inertia, now this was the extra effort which we have made. Now I and Y, both things, I as well as Y, the two important things which was needed to be calculated here in a different way, that we have calculated. Y, you have seen, Y will be the major value among the two, means among these two, YT and YC. You see YC is greater 125 mm. Alright, so what we will do now, we will calculate the individual bending stress for this also and for this also. If this is your neutral axis, then the portion above, which is in tension, because in the question they have given you that the above portion is in tension and the lower portion is in compression, and this happens in the case of cantilever beams. In the case of simply supported beams, you don't get the tensile force above the neutral axis. So how we will calculate the bending stress? Formula, you know, formula is what? Sigma upon y is equal to m upon I, is equal to m upon I. Alright, this is the formula, students. So by using this formula, sigma becomes equal to m upon I into YT. By using this formula, sigma becomes equal to m upon I into YT. So using this, your bending moment is 6.4 into 10 to the power 6, which you have calculated. Then after moment of inertia, composite sections moment of inertia is 53.125 into 10 to the power 6. This is also calculated. Then this is your distance from the neutral axis of the extreme fiber, which is in tension 125. Alright, and similarly for lower extreme fiber, what will be the value? For lower extreme fiber, the value of bending stress will be sigma 2 m upon y into YC. Here y will change. YC for compression, the value of distance of the outermost fiber will be your equal to 75. This also we have calculated. Putting this value, you will get that the value of stress in the lower extreme fiber is 9.04 megapascal. So in this way, individually we have to calculate the value of stress in the upper extreme fiber and also in the lower extreme fiber. The only difference was that the distance of both the fiber from the neutral axis was different. Alright, the uppermost fiber was at a distance of 125 from the neutral axis, or the neutral axis is basically your center of gravity line passing through center of gravity. Alright, and the distance of lowermost fiber was how much? It was at a distance of 75. Alright, so in this way this is done. And it is calculated 125 and 75. So therefore individually we have to calculate these two values. So I hope you have understood what we have done in this numerical. First we have calculated the value of this y bar. Alright, now y bar is basically from the base. From here it is y bar. Alright, from here it is giving you the value of distance of center of gravity from the base. But from the top, how you will calculate? For that it will be 200. Corrected. It is 200, students. 200 minus 125. This will give you the value of 75 mm. So this was important. And then after we have calculated the value of moment of inertia of this composite section. It was needed in the numerical. We needed it. Then individually we have calculated the bending stresses of the lower fiber, also of the upper fiber. Now you are in a condition to solve one more numericals. Let's read this numerical. This figure which you are seeing, it is showing a rolled steel beam of an unsymmetrical I section. Now if the maximum bending stress in the beam section is not to exceed 40 megapascal, then we have to find the moment which the beam can resist. Alright, here once again I am reading out so that you can understand. The figure is showing you a rolled steel beam of an unsymmetrical I section. This is the unsymmetrical I section. And if the bending stress in the beam is not to exceed 40 megapascal, we have to find the moment which the beam can resist. So we have to calculate the value of bending moment. So in the similar manner as we have gone in the previous example, here also we will do the same thing. We are going to first of all calculate the location of the neutral axis, or the location of center of gravity of this section. So individually we will have to divide this beam Here we will have to draw a line. Here also we will have to draw a line. Now there are 3 sections in it. One is this one, then after this is the second one, and then after this is the third one. Now what we will do, we will consider this rectangle, and this particular rectangle. We will find the area of all these 3, area A1 Y1, area A1 Y1, this area A1, alright, A1. Then after, what will be the value of Y1? Then for second also we are going to calculate A2, then after Y2. Then for the third one we are going to calculate A3, and then after Y3. Alright, so based on it, how we are going to get the values. First, the value of A1. See, area is very easy. 100 is the dimension width, and multiplied by what is the depth? 50 is the depth. This is the area. Then after, what will be its Y1 value? Now Y1 is basically what? Y1 you have to calculate from here, distance from this particular line to this particular length. Now how much it will be equal to? See, this is 50, this is 200. So 50 and 200 will give you the value. It is equal to 250. And then half of this particular 50 means 250 plus 25. It will give you the value equal to 275. So 275 is your Y1. Y1 is what? Y1 is basically your 275. Then after moving downwards into A2, A2 will be how much? A2 will be equal to A2 area. Again, this is its depth is 200 multiplied by 50. This will be the area. Then after Y2 will be the distance. How we will calculate Y2? Again, for Y2, if this is the center of gravity line, alright, and its distance from the bottom will be equal to this particular length. Sorry, this particular length is 50, and half of this 200, it will be 100. So 100 plus 50, it will give you the value 150. It will give you the value 150. So Y2 is basically what? Y2 is 150. Then after, student, coming into A3, A3 will be how much? A3 will be, your A3 will be equal to A3 will be equal to how much? Again, area will, its width is 200 multiplied by its depth is 50. This is the area, and Y3 will be equal to what? Y3 will be equal to, Y3 means distance from the bottom. So from the distance from the bottom means distance of this from the bottom means half of 50 we will do. Half of 50 we will do, and it will be equal to 25. So A1, Y1, A2, Y2, A3, Y3, all three we have calculated. Then how we will calculate the value of Y bar? Y bar will be equal to, it will be equal to how much? As the formula says, A1 Y1, alright, plus A2 Y2, alright, plus A3 Y3 divided by A1 plus A2 plus A3. Alright, this will give you the value of Y bar. Alright, means this distance you are going to calculate by this formula, this particular distance. So how much is this distance? If you will calculate by putting all the values which we have seen, this of A1 Y1, A2 Y2 and A3 Y3, you will see the value of Y bar which we are calculating, the value of Y bar which we are getting is equal to how much? It is equal to 125. Now 125 means what? 125 means it is the distance from this bottom of this figure to the center of gravity, means from the neutral axis. Distance from the neutral axis to this, it is given to you. This you have calculated by Y bar. But one thing more you have to calculate, and that is this distance from the topmost fiber, distance from the topmost fiber from the neutral axis. All right, so how much it will be the value which you have calculated here. The value which you have calculated here, this is your y bar. So this here it will be equal to, here it will be equal to how much? It will be equal to this whole sole length from bottom to the top will be 50 plus 100, 50 plus 200 plus 50. This will give you the value 300. All right. So total length from bottom to the top is 300. So 300, all right, minus this y bar will give you the value of this particular length. So how much it will be? This you can calculate. All right. So here student y bar is 125. Again 300 minus 125 will give the value of y2, means from the topmost fiber the distance of neutral axis. Now we shall take the values of y bar 175 mm, all right, and 125 mm and 175. From these two values, comparing these two values y1 and y2, we can see that this one is the greater one and we have to take the greater one. Greater of the two values is considered, all right, as the y in the bending stress formula. Now apart from this, apart from the calculation of y1 and y2, one more thing is to be calculated, and that is moment of inertia of the composite section. And how we use the how we calculate the formula? We all know BD cube by 12 plus AH square. BD cube by 12 plus AH square. What is the formula? Formula is BD cube, all right, divided by 12. BD cube divided by 12 plus AH square. AH square. This is basically the formula for calculation of what? Calculation of center of gravity. Sorry, calculation of moment of inertia about the neutral axis. All right. So this will be equal to, if you will put the values, h you will have to calculate. Be attentive while calculating the value of h. H is basically in the distance between the center of gravity of the individual sections which we have made, section 1, section 2, section 3. Let me bring that diagram so that you can understand this diagram. I am saying, students, that in this diagram what you will have to do, you will have to consider the three sections. One is this one, all right, one is this one, this I have already told to you, and the third is this one. Now what you are going to do for calculating this value of h is basically, if this is the neutral axis and this is the individual center of gravity of this section 1. So for this section 1, this particular distance is your h for section 1, and it will be equal to how much? You will have to calculate, because from the base the value of y bar is your 125. So this is 125, students, and all right, and the total value from base to the center of gravity of section 1 is your how much? 275. So 275 minus 125. This you will put here. Again, in the same manner, you can calculate for the other also. Other also means like section 2 and section 3. For section 2 also the same thing, and for section 3 also the same thing can be done. All right. So if you will calculate in this way, this is your h and h, distance between the neutral axis and the center of gravity of that particular portion. You will get the moment of inertia. After the calculation of moment of inertia, this is moment of inertia. Section modulus you will have to calculate. Section modulus, you all know it is equal to z is equal to I by y. We all know the formula. Y is the larger of the two values, the larger of 125 and 175. So which is the larger? 175 is the larger one. So we are taking 175. So finally the value of z is 1.46 into 10 to the power 6 millimeter to the cube. And moment which the beam can resist. Now the moment which the beam can resist is m is equal to sigma into z. And m is equal to sigma into z means here sigma is 40, which is given in the question. And z we have calculated right now. Using these we have calculated the value of bending moment which the beam can resist. M is equal to sigma into z. So I hope you have understood this equation. Alright, the only thing is that you have to do the extra effort in calculating the value of moment of inertia and distance from the neutral axis. Now seeing one more numerical, this is somewhat different from the previous one. So what is this question saying? First let's see. See, a simply supported beam and its cross sections are shown here. The beam carries a load of 10 kilonewton as is shown in the figure. Self weight is 3.5 kilonewton per meter, and we have to calculate the value of maximum bending stress at section XX. At this section XX, which is at a distance of 1.2 meter from one of the support, we have to calculate the bending stress at this particular section. The load which is acting is 10 kilonewton load, and where it is acting, this also it is given 1.2 meter from the section from the support B. Alright, and what the self weight of whole of the beam is 3.5 kilonewton per meter. This also has to be considered. Always the self weight of the beam is taken as a UDL. It is taken as a UDL, students. This you should keep in mind. Alright, so the UDL is 3.5 kilonewton per meter. Self weight is considered as UDL. Now what you have to calculate? You have to calculate the maximum bending stress at section XX. Maximum bending stress at the section XX. So how you are going to calculate now? See, here the question is loading is there, point load and also UDL. So maximum bending moment value you will have to calculate. And also you can see the cross section. The cross section is also a cut section. Alright. So here extra effort we will have to make. Let's see. First of all, the load, point load, the value is 10 kilonewton, means 10 into 10 to the power 3 newton. Self weight of the beam is 3.5 kilonewton per meter. Alright, this is the UDL. This is what? This is your UDL. Then after it is 3.5 newton per mm. First of all, we are going to calculate the value of distance of center of gravity and the bottom face. We are going to calculate the neutral axis position from the bottom, that is your y bar. And how we are going to calculate? Again the same as I have told to you. For a cut section like this, which you are seeing, students, it's for such sections we subtract in the formula. How we subtract in the formula? The value of as you can see in the formula, what we are going to do, a1y1 minus a2y2 upon a1 minus a2. a1 is what? a1 we are considering the rectangle, and y1 we are considering the first section we are considering the rectangle, and the second we are considering the circle. Alright, and for both we will calculate the value. For this rectangle, what are the values which are given? 300 is the depth of this rectangle, and what is its width? 200 is its width. So based on it we can calculate the value of area. Alright, now apart from that, for this particular circle, they have given you the value of diameter and distance from the top portion, that is 100. Alright, so 150 mm is the dia, 150 mm hole, 150 mm. Alright, now apart from it nothing is given. So first of all we are going to calculate y bar, and for y bar we will get a1 from this particular diagram. A1 will be equal to how much? 300 into 200, and y1 will be equal to what? Y1 from the bottom fiber to the center of gravity of this particular rectangle. It will be equal to 300 divided by 2. But this will not be the case. This will not be the case for this circle. For this circle, how you will calculate its value y1? A1 is very simple. A2 is very simple. A2 is equal to pi d square by 4. Pi d square by 4. Alright, pi d square by 4. This is the area. D you will use this 150. And but y1, sorry, y2, how you will calculate y2? For y2, what you are going to do? For y2, you will have to find the distance. Now from the top, the distance of center is 100. So from the bottom it will be equal to how much? Whole distance is 300. So 300 minus 100 will give you the value 200. So y2 will be your 200. y1 is your 150. A1 is your 200 into 300, A2 is pi d square, pi into 150 square by 4. Again, in the downward set, A1 minus A2. So formula is A1 y1 minus A2 y2 upon A1 minus A2. This will give you the value of center of gravity position from bottom. Now from the top, what will be the value? The whole sole length, student, the whole sole length is 300 from the bottom. Alright. So from the top, what will be the value of this neutral axis? From the top, actually from the bottom, its distance is 129. Total length is 300. So 300 minus 129 will give you the value equal to how much? 171 mm. Alright, so distance between center of gravity of the section and upper extreme fiber is 171 mm. Now comparing both of them, 129 and 171, which is the lesser one? The lesser one is your 171 mm. The lesser one is your, sorry, the greater one. We have to consider the greater one. The greater one is 171 mm. Alright, so this will be the value of y, which we will take in the formula of bending stress. Again, we have to calculate the value of moment of inertia also. The same formula, the only difference will be we will use a negative symbol. We will subtract here. Means I is equal to IC, means VD cube by 2, means the moment of inertia about their individual center of gravity. Alright, plus AH square, area into H square, minus for the second part, means that of circle, IC plus AH square. This will give you the composite moment of inertia of the whole of the remaining section, cut section. And now again, what we will have to do, we will have for calculating the value of bending moment. First of all, what we will do, we will have to calculate the support reactions. We will have to calculate the values A and B. We will have to calculate the value of support reactions A and B. So as you can see, first support reaction RA and RB are needed. So this can be calculated, as I have already told you how to calculate. First of all, we have found the moment about the point A. This will give you us the value of RB, support reaction at B. Then using the equilibrium condition that summation of all the vertical forces should be equal to 0. This will give us the value of RA. RA and RB both are calculated. Now bending moment at X. What will it be the bending moment at this particular location X? Distance is already given to us. So we can calculate the value. How we will calculate? See, 9.6 is the RA value and its distance is 1.2. Apart from this, you have a UDL. What is the value of UDL? 3.5. And the distance on which it is acting, we will consider 1.2, because we have to consider only this much portion. Alright, we have to consider only this much portion. So this much portion's UDL value will be 3.5 into 1.2, and it will be considered at its center, means 1.2 divided by 2, that is 0.6. So M, you have got the value 9 into 10 to the power 6. Bending moment value at this section we have calculated. Now finally the bending stress will be, formula is sigma is equal to M pi upon I. This will give you the value of bending stress as 4.24. I hope you understood. Now let's go and check to solve some multiple choice questions. So these are the multiple choice questions. First of all, question number 1. Unsymmetrical bending occurs due to, see, the unsymmetrical bending we have seen, it occurs due to the bending moment diagram being unsymmetrical. In the case of unsymmetrical sections, the bending moment diagram is also unsymmetrical, somewhat like this. So it is unsymmetrical, so D is the correct answer. Second multiple choice question. A body having similar properties throughout its volume. We all know it is known as homogeneous type of body. B is the correct answer. Coming into the next multiple choice question. A principal plane has zero shear stress. This also we have studied that a principal plane is the one which has zero shear stress. C is the answer. 4. Calculate the strain energy that is stored in a body to be pulled with 100 Newton per mm square. So 100 Newton is your value of stress. Alright, and you have to calculate the strain energy. Formula we all know, strain energy is equal to stress sigma square upon 2E into volume. Alright, into volume. Now here how we will calculate? E, modulus of elasticity, is given to us. Value we will put here. Stress value is given to us 100 that also we will put, and finally we will get the value equal to 0.05 kilonewton meter. Alright, so here in the options you can see that B is the correct option. Coming into the next fifth multiple choice question. Material exhibiting time-bound behavior are known as here viscoelastic. Those materials which exhibit time-bound behavior are viscoelastic materials. Coming into the question number 6. What are the units of true strains? We all know that a strain does not have got any unit because it is the ratio of change in length upon original length. Coming into the next multiple choice question, that is question number 7. This is the question number 7. What is the question saying? Unsymmetrical bending occurs when the bending moment diagram is unsymmetrical. So this was your question number 7. Coming into multiple choice question number 8. What is the question saying? The question is saying that the material which exhibit the same elastic properties in all directions. Now this will have the answers as answer, not C. It will be isotropic. B is the correct answer. Coming into the next multiple choice question. Question number 9. Bending occurs due to the application of, we all know whenever there is a transverse load, then only the bending occurs. So B is the answer. This was your MCQ number 9. Then after moving into the next one, bending occurs due to application of, we all know bending occurs due to the application of lateral load. We can say either lateral load, transverse load, both are correct. But don't tick on the axial load or torsional load. Alright. Third question, bending occurs due to the application of, same question but on different language. Bending occurs due to the application of load perpendicular to the axis. This is what? This is the load which is perpendicular to the axis. So C is the correct answer. So all multiple choice questions we have done, students. For your self-study, you can use any of the references which are given in the slide. I have referred these while making the content of this video lecture. Thank you, students. Thank you. We will meet again in the next video lecture. Thank you and have a nice day.